Researchers have been assembling dictionaries of animal speech, and we may even be able to talk to them in the very near future. It was previously believed that prairie dogs had the most complex language aside from humans, but turns out sperm whales actually have something akin to a phonetic alphabet. We have these ordered sounds that end up having meaning. Turns out sperm whales communicate much the same, and AI is used to decode their language. For whales, different kinds of ornamentation can result in different meaning. It's also been observed that whales have dialect, so a whale from one locale may not be able to communicate with whales from another. Also, just for fun, because I love this fact, whales have fashion. Orcas have been seen sporting stuff like salmon as a hat. Other whales will meet that whale, and then the new whales will start wearing salmon. The trends even changed. It became tuna, and particularly young females engage in fashion, which sounds a little human to me. It's also been seen that bonobos, chimpanzees, prairie dogs, of course, and certain kinds of birds also have something akin to language structure that could be used to detect consciousness. The traditional way to test for consciousness involves a mirror. Will you recognize yourself versus someone else in a mirror? But it's not a great test. I mean, fish can pass it. The fact that language exists, things like phonetic alphabets and syntax, that is very likely going to be used to detect consciousness in the very same way that has been used to detect consciousness in an unconscious person. So someone who's in a coma, traditional ways to measure brain activity aren't wholly accurate, but you can use language. Something that can be done to detect if somebody is conscious and locked in is describing a scenario, such as playing tennis or walking around a house, and seeing if their brain reacts. If they're aware, they should have brain activity in which they imagine the scenario that you are describing. This would absolutely demonstrate the inner world that's required of consciousness. Sentience is just the ability to have an experience and understand that you're having a sensation. But consciousness requires a sense of self. We do know that animals make internal maps. If you can speak their language and speak to them and ask them to imagine something, and they do, that would be a very good demonstration of consciousness. Now, some have argued that language is not a requirement for consciousness. It's just how we, being very language-oriented animals, experience it. As for whether or not we'll be able to communicate with animals using a dictionary and AI in the very near future, yes, quite likely. Researchers have been putting together dictionaries for many different species, because we are not the only creatures that communicate with language. But let's be fair, there's other kinds of language than just vocabulary. When you look at an animal right in the eyes and it gets kind of freaked out, you're also communicating something. While smiling may be an expression of joy in humans, for a lot of animals it's a sign of aggression. So communication comes in many forms. I think the hard lines for consciousness are actually kind of invalid, but what do you think?